closer to being accepted as international currency. And nearly 60% of all digital payments are already UPI based. Isn't this the very moment to come together and think of how we can make the transformation even quicker? So please join me.
From the Mumbai studios of Republic TV, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Arnab Goswami on the debate at 10. Powered by Panasonic. Co-powered by IndusInd Bank.
Good evening and welcome back. And ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for your favorite section, the nation's sharpest opinion. On the nation's sharpest opinion, I pick up issues which are undebated, undiscussed, and uninvestigated. Facts which are not facts. Lies presented as truths told 1,000 times, and sometimes when the media goes blind, no probing questions are asked and it is accepted as the finality. Ladies and gentlemen, the purpose of Republic is to unmask these facts and show them for what they are, a bunch of lies. The biggest lie that has been told to us, and this has been a plot of the Manmohan Singh government, which I describe effectively as the Sonia Gandhi government, because at that time the Sonia Gandhi government is responsible for trying to equate Hinduism with terrorism. They were the ones who wanted to associate the color saffron with terrorism. And that is why, in a well thought way, with the deepest of machinations, they used their skills in putting out lies to spread this theory about Hindu terror, saffron terror. The whole idea, the thought of saffron terror was a postulation of Chidambaram Sushil Kumar Shinde under the Manmohan Singh government, obviously with the blessings of Sonia Gandhi. In fact, it is put out in a WikiLeaks document that Rahul Gandhi is believed to have gone and told American diplomats that the biggest issue in India which needed to be tackled is the issue of saffron terrorism. And therefore, bit by bit and part by part, the Congress party spread a lie that Hinduism has a terrorist dimension to it. And the unfortunate fact is the sold-out Lutyens media never questioned it, because it was very convenient for them to go along with this theory, because they were obviously getting their paychecks on the basis of putting out and amplifying this lie. They too did a lot of analysis, op-eds, opinion pieces, documentaries, discussions and debates on how to tackle saffron terrorism. And nobody ever asked the question, on what basis did you come up with this conclusion? How could you associate the color saffron with terrorism? How could you build an idea about Hindu terrorism? How could you draw a conclusion that Hindutva in any way is linked to terrorism? But that was their intention. Now when I ask them these questions, that how could you come up with such a conclusion, they avoid the answers, they look the other way, they have no answers, because ladies and gentlemen, the reality is this, that the one incident on the basis of which the whole theory about saffron terrorism was put before you, the whole idea of saffron terrorism was regurgitated by the so-called Lutyens intelligentsia, which became a part of a deep effort to entrench this so deep in your mind that you too would begin questioning anyone who said, well, this never happened. You can't just make up facts. Ladies and gentlemen, facts were concocted, people were tortured, deep injustice was done. The worst of malpractices was resorted to. The entire criminal justice system of this country was deeply weaponized. People were made targets, and on that basis, you were told that the Malegaon blasts were an act of saffron terrorism. And here I am before you tonight saying, with the deepest of conviction, on the basis of incontrovertible facts which are now coming out and which it is my duty to report before you, that all the things that you were told have been proven to be just a bunch of lies. And I am not saying it, ladies and gentlemen. It is not me alone who's saying it, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not saying it because the Lutyens media says, oh, Arnab is a right-winger. No. What I have with me is what is right. What they have told you is what is false. They will not report the facts today. They will not report the following facts. They will not report the fact, ladies and gentlemen, that 34 witnesses, not 10 or 20 or 30, but 34 witnesses have retracted their statements before the court in the Malegaon case. They will not report the fact that the officials of the anti-terror squad at that time now face warrants. They will not report the facts that the NIA documents which I have in my hand are pointing to the possibility that all the evidence was planted, that it was one gigantic lie, ladies and gentlemen, and that you were told to believe that Hinduism has a terrorist aspect to it. And that we, when we asked them these questions, were told, oh, you are a bunch of right-wingers. Ladies and gentlemen, RDX was planted in the house of the accused. If the RDX was planted, the entire case is false. Can you imagine? The biggest theory in the time of Sonia Gandhi, when Sonia Gandhi was in power, was the theory of saffron terrorism. It was all false, ladies and gentlemen. All made up. There was a plot to fix the accused. Ladies and gentlemen, the NIA in 2016 acknowledged in the charge sheet that there was a possibility of the evidence being planted. Did or did not the NIA say way back in 2016 in its charge sheet that explosives found in the homes of one of the accused could have been planted by the ATS officers themselves? This means this was some Parambir Singh, Sachin Vaze kind of investigation. In fact, I believe that the role of Parambir Singh should also be investigated. Ladies and gentlemen, there was an attempt to fix Colonel Shrikant Purohit. Former IPS officers have revealed how Purohit actually helped the cops. The late Himanshu Roy, who was a senior police officer in Mumbai, actually had written that Purohit had shared, quote, vital and sensitive information with the police which proved of help. Which means this serving Indian Army officer is not just a patriot and nationalist, but who put his life out there to fight for the truth, and he was targeted. Can you believe it? One of the bravest officers who risked himself to put out the truth, ladies and gentlemen, about who was the real challenge to law and order in this country, has been dubbed a traitor. He's been put in jail. He's still being incarcerated. The case against him has still not been cleared. Ladies and gentlemen, we keep talking about due procedure, and I would like to ask all the pseudo-intellectuals tonight, where was the due procedure in this case? People keep talking that let the law take its course. Where did the law take its course in this case, and was not the deepest injustice done? Witnesses are turning hostile. Shreds of truth are beginning to come out. Witnesses were kidnapped. Narco tests were buried. Photocopies of witness statements went missing. Can you just imagine all that happened? Written permission which is taken by forensic experts before visiting the house of the accused was not taken in this case. UAPA was applied not under the right authority. This was an absolute case of fixing. And there is only one question which I want to ask you, ladies and gentlemen. Why was it done? Who was the beneficiary? People don't like it when I ask them these questions. But isn't it a fact tonight that by spreading this lie about saffron terrorism, by saying that everybody who carried out the Malegaon blast were a bunch of right-wing Hindutva terrorists, who was being protected? And if I ask the question, I also point in the direction of the answer. Can anyone look at me in the eye and say I am wrong? Was Pakistan not being protected, ladies and gentlemen? Was the Pakistan hand in the Malegaon blast not being undermined? What kind of Mir Jafar situation is this, ladies and gentlemen? I ask you tonight, with all the conviction at my command, that when you say saffron terrorism, when Mr. P. Chidambaram says in August 2010, saffron terrorism, what did he mean? Who was he helping? In 2015, ladies and gentlemen, when Sushil Kumar Shinde said the BJP and the RSS are promoting Hindu terrorism through their training camps, was it not said? Can they deny it today? Can they deny they spoke about Hindu terrorism? People who say never associate any religion with terrorism were the same people expostulating, arguing and aggressively placing their conviction about Hindu terrorism. On what basis, I ask? Why, I ask? Was Pakistan being protected or not, I ask? Did this not take the attention away from Simi links? Ladies and gentlemen, didn't the Samjhauta Express blasts, the investigation into them also change track? Did Pakistan not take advantage of this? Have I not done endless number of debates, viewers, where every time you ask the Pakistanis about terrorism, they point and say, oh, but you have saffron terrorism in your country as well. And how can we answer them back when the fact is that the government of the day in India spread this lie about saffron terrorism? Viewers, I have much to say tonight, but I want you to think. And on the basis of what you hear tonight, I want you to draw your own sharpest opinion. So let's debate.
Immediately after the 2008 blasts in Malegaon, official press conferences were held to push a saffron terror theory.
Message is that right-wing fundamentalist groups are suspected to be behind some bomb blasts. These are religious fundamentalist groups.
Top UPA minister spun claims about Hindu terrorism.
माइनॉरिटी पर कई वक्त इनजस्टिस भी होता है, वो भी देखा जा रहे हैं कि वहां जाके बॉम्ब प्लांट करना और ताकि ये माइनॉरिटी के लोगों ने किया है इस प्रकार का बताना, इसके लिए भी हमें बहुत सतर्क रहना।
9 years later, Lieutenant Colonel Purohit was finally granted bail after the NIA pointed out all the flaws in the ATS probe.
How do you look at it when you compare it to that case?
Ma'am, I can't say anything about that. Okay. About my case, I'm happy about whatever has happened in the sessions in High Court and Supreme Court. Now Sessions Court will listen to my plea.
Are you hopeful now of getting relief from the trial courts?
Yes.
Those accused revealed details of barbaric torture.
मुझे नहीं पता था इसका कारण क्या है, क्यों मुझे पीटा जा रहा है। जो मुझे बाद में पता चला कि वो कहलवाना चाहते थे कि तुमने एक विस्फोट किया है और मुस्लिमों को मारा है।
Now 34 witnesses in the case have turned hostile. NIA documents revealed the possibility of evidence like RDX being planted.
In fact, we have access signed and stamped a statement of army officers whose name we will not reveal. But this statement shows how ATS officer already seen planting evidence in the house of the accused.
The then Nasik IGP is revealing sensational details of the 2006 Malegaon blast probe.
When the 2008 blast took place, unfortunately, the same accused of 2008 were also framed in 2006 blast. Because of that, the entire investigation was overturned. The actual accused were discharged, and all these accused of 2008 were shown as accused in 2006, which effectively means that the case was killed. I'm making a statement that Sadhvi Pragya and Colonel Purohit had no role in 2006 blasts.
Was the entire probe into Malegaon a fraud? Was saffron terror a calibrated hoax? Let's debate.
And I would like to begin first by introducing everyone tonight. On the case of the Malegaon fraud, we have enough time to debate and discuss this, so we're not doing a third debate tonight. There's a very, very important and serious case. We have Tuhin Sinha of the BJP, Sadhvi Jaya Bharti, well-known Hindu scholar, Ratan Sharda, RSS ideologue and political analyst, General G.D. Bakshi, strategic affairs analyst, Lokesh Jindal of the Congress, Zubair Memon, political analyst, Tala Amir Rashidi of the Rashtriya Ulama Council, and Syed Asad Abbas are on the debate. First, I want to go to P.K. Jain, former additional DGP of Maharashtra, who has made an important statement in this case a little while earlier to Republic. Mr. Jain, at the time of the Malegaon blast and after it, were you at any point of time directly or indirectly involved in the investigation? Or was your work in any way having jurisdiction over what had happened in Malegaon?
Arnab, I was the IG of police in Nasik range at that time. When the first blast took place in 2006, I have camped in Malegaon for over a month and a half. The entire investigation, the initial stages of investigation was conducted under my supervision. Subsequently, the investigation was given to ATS and from there it went to CBI. Till the time we were there, whatever we had found out was the involvement of some local Muslim youth. And the same line of investigation was taken by the ATS and then by the CBI, and there was adequate evidence to say that. In fact, after being 10 times sure that there was some forensic evidence, there was a lot of evidence in terms of the cycle having been purchased by a particular individual. Then also the fact that two persons had come from outside, they had orchestrated the entire thing, guided the local people, and then they had left a day before the blast. All these things had come out during the course of investigation, interrogation. There was a very important link which was found. The guy who was told that it will cause only a minor blast and not any life will be lost, when he saw a 5-year-old child suffering in the hospital with a lot of sharpnels lodged in her chest and under the chin, that is the time when he actually turned. He was a devout Muslim. He turned and then he narrated the entire story. He was actually kept under police protection for almost 6 months. Now, this is how we arrived at the fact as to what exactly had happened. And I have no doubt in my mind that the local people from Malegaon were involved in that blast, aided and abetted by the people who had come and left and organized the whole thing. Now, after that, I got transferred out sometime in the year 2008. The second blast took place after I had left Nasik. Unfortunately, the entire investigation was subsequently overturned, and the actual accused who were accused in the 2006 blast were discharged from the case under whatever political pressure. There was a lot of hullabaloo about it. And the accused who were shown to be accused in 2008 were also framed in the 2006 case, which means that today that case has gone to dogs. 2006 blast will never be proved in the court because the actual accused were let off. They were discharged officially. And the new set of accused who were brought in, there was hardly any evidence worth the name, and they will all get the benefit of doubt. So effectively, I would say that the 2006 accused were actually discharged, and 2008 accused were shown accused in the 2006 case at a later date, which somehow beats logic. The second part, if we come to, is
just 1 minute. These are, you do realize that these are alarming and very sensational disclosures, Mr. Jain. You know the significance of what you are saying on my program. This is alarming. And by the way, General Bakshi is on. People are responding as we speak tonight. There's a lot of Twitter traffic already on this. I'm repeating, you are saying tonight, as the then Inspector General of Police in Nashik range under which Malegaon came, that the 2006 Malegaon blast was carried out by Muslim youth who you had full evidence against and who had been aided by some outside forces, but they were protected, and those who carried out the 2008 blast were shown as the guilty party for 2006, while the 2006 blast accused, who were the Muslim youth with help from outside were let off under political pressure. Now,
See, obviously,
what you're saying is, what you're trying to say is that innocent people who had no role. Can I have PK Jain on air, because I'm speaking fundamentally to him, please? What you're saying is that people who had no role with either of the blasts were brought in as the principal accused. But there was nothing to draw them into it.
Arnab,
and that those who carried out 2008, who are the ones who carried out 2008 who were listed as the guilty party for 2006?
See, 2008 blast, as I mentioned earlier, had taken place after I had left Nasik. So the accused who were shown in that case are Pragya Thakur and Colonel Purohit and a whole lot of people from the Hindu outfits. I am making a statement again, Arnab, before
Louder,
you.
Please.
In my honest opinion, in whatever investigation was carried out, which was not only carried out by Nasik police, it was subsequently upheld by the ATS of that time. It was subsequently upheld by the CBI of that time. Was the same theory that the accused who had been arrested initially were the actual accused in the case. And subsequently, a charge sheet accordingly had been sent up against them. And which charge sheet was overturned after the 2008 case, in which case all the accused, actual accused of 2006 were discharged, and the accused who were shown as accused in 2008 case were shown as accused in 2006 case. So what happened was the entire set of accused was changed. I don't know for what consideration. Now I had certain conversation with the senior officer of who was supervising investigation from the ATS at that time. I mean, he had his own theory. But the fact remains that till the time we were in charge of the investigation, till the time the entire investigation was carried out, the
what was his theory and who is this person?
I won't like to name him, he's no more, unfortunately. But he said, no, sir, you are not aware of the facts. We have found out certain new facts. So now this kind of a thing is always possible in investigation. But this kind of a shift from an entirely different set of accused to they being let off and a totally different set of accused being brought in has been, I have never seen it in my life. I have never seen it in my 33 years of career.
No, Lokesh, before you come in, viewers, please understand the significance of this testimony tonight. Just 1 minute, Lokesh. Just 1 minute, Lokesh. Just 1 minute, Lokesh. I'm not bringing you in just yet. Viewers, understand the significance of this testimony in the context of what's been going on in terms of hostile witnesses. General Bakshi, you're listening to this? You're listening to this tonight? How Malegaon was a fraud case?
Absolutely. Arnab, if you permit, can I make another sensational disclosure on your channel? Right? This was a conspiracy of sheer cowardice. 2008 is the year when the then Congress government was under severe public pressure and scrutiny for their failure to react to repeated Pakistani acts of terror. You know, they wanted perhaps to react, but the United States had clearly stopped them from doing so, because the United States was being supported logistically by Pakistan in their war in Afghanistan. So they had put severe pressure on the Congress government to not take any retaliatory action against Pakistan. That government was under pressure, and to divert, they tried to concoct this theory of Hindu saffron terror and divert the entire attention from Simi, from Pakistan, from ISI to get themselves off the hook. Arnab, this is a conspiracy of cowardice. You did not want to react to Pakistan, and you wanted to cover it up.
No, and the worst part of this
Arnab,
is...
let me just finish. Let me just finish.
Just 1 minute, just 1 minute.
And they ruined careers. They ruined lives to concoct this narrative. And Arnab, don't forget a movie Bollywood made, Main Hoon Na, which started the concept of Hindu terror, floated this narrative around that time. So you have, Bollywood roped in to spread the concept of Hindu terror, and then you sort of use it. When the Air Force Chief, Air Chief Marshal Fali Homi Major said, I am ready to retaliate, give me the orders to 2611.
No, what?
That shameless set of people, that shameless set of people came up with this pernicious Hindu terror plot.
One fact is without any doubt, General Bakshi, that this theory about Hindu terrorism and saffron terrorism, which was spread by P. Chidambaram, Sushil Kumar Shinde, under the Manmohan Singh government, under the Sonia Gandhi government, was happening in the aftermath of 2611. So at that point of time, the Congress party's soft approach, Ratan Sharda, towards Pakistan on the issue of terrorism, their inaction, their love for Pakistan had been put out in the public domain. Please don't interrupt me, we have enough time. And the Congress party needed something to neutralize the public pressure it was on. And therefore their plan presumably was create a lie about Hindu terrorism, help the Pakistanis balance the discussion. And let it be seen, Ratan Sharda, that if there is terrorism emanating from Pakistan, right, we must be in a position to say, well, there is terrorism originating from India. And this is the kind of plot that was created and which has to be unmasked. We have to have a movement against this, Ratan Sharda. This case cannot be left alone.
Self-respecting government of ruling party would conspire to frame up their own citizen and let Pakistan go. Samjhauta Express, Simi chief Safdar Nagori clearly talked about the Pakistani angle, the money they received. That entire witness was removed. The people who were actually, America said there is hand of Pakistan in this, that was given up, and finally Hindu terror is invented. 2011, remember 2008, it happens. By the grace of God and Umbalaji, the Pakistani terrorist with Kalaba is arrested. And even after that, less than 2 years, we had a publication from Congress leaders which said RSS is Sajish. Which government would put 2008 suspects on 2006 terror and then let those people go free and kill the entire narrative of Pakistan supported terrorism? This kind of totally unjustifiable, self-hating kind of support to Pakistan terror, no self-respecting government would ever do. This is the real tragedy. This is the tragedy that they sold off their own soul. They tried to create the bogey of Hindu terror that resulted in letting Pakistan off the hook. And then so many innocent people lost their lives. So many innocent people were in jail for years together. For 6 years, Colonel Purohit, Sadhi Pragya had no charge sheet. They were tortured. And when the government went down, then they started talking of pressure on them. But tell me which terror outfit would terror organization, anti-terror organization will take 6 years to frame charges?
What happens is, Ratan Sharda, because of this theory created.
They are openly saying that they were framed.
Because of this theory created that Hindus are perpetrators of terrorist violence. This is a clear theory. It is not by accident. You heard Chidambaram there. Jaya Bharti Tuhin, did you hear him?
It was
it was very clear.
They wanted equivalence of Hindu and
they wanted a balancing out. Oh, you got Lashkar-e-Toiba out there. You got Jaish-e-Mohammed out there. Never mind, Pakistan will help you.
It was a global conspiracy to let the terrorists go off the hook.
It was
entire Talibani movement were given a free license in the name of Hindu terror. They have no shame today also trying to speak the same language.
Also, if you remember, at that time, Jaya Bharti is on and Tuhin is on. Because if you remember, I am taking time on this, there was always an attempt at equalizing India and Pakistan.
Allow me to answer that.
Mr. Abbas, just wait your turn. I'm coming to you. I'll give you full opportunity to speak today. Don't worry about it. But what I'm saying is that at that point of time, the government did not know how to handle the pressure from the media. And some of us, including me, had put a great amount of pressure on the then Congress government. Every day I asked them, how were they compromising vis-a-vis vis-a-vis Pakistan. I know the pressure we had put them under, thank God for that. But they did not come from their conviction. They needed to balance things out, Jaya Bharti. So they started spreading this lie about Hindu terrorism. The attempt was to turn. The attempt by the Congress party was to turn India's, the religion of Hinduism, the Hindu civilization of this country, on the defensive. The attempt was clearly here to say Hinduism has been the source of a new form of terrorism in this country. This was the attempt.
Arnab, tell me one thing. Why did the Makoka court acquit all the 8 Muslims who were charged by the 2006
don't ask me. Ask PK Jain.
ATS?
Ask PK Jain.
No,
ask PK Jain. He just answered the question. He just 1 minute. Lokesh, I'll let Sadhvi Jaya Bharti go first. A lot of viewers calling in tonight, asking us, are you going to make this a campaign? Yes, I will.
Put some facts on the table.
1 minute. Lokesh, first of all, Lokesh, 1 minute. First of all, Tala, don't shout together. One by one, if you speak, I will respond to you. Let me tell you, I have facts on my side. I have public support on my side. People are with me on this.
It's you.
People are against lies.
Why don't you answer Lokesh?
What is Lokesh's question? If you keep quiet, I'll hear him and I'll answer him. Yes, tell me. What is your question?
Arnab, the question is, in 2016, we had the Makoka court acquitting all the 8 Muslim men who had been charge-sheeted in 2006 by ATS. You want to say that Makoka court's judgment was wrong? And secondly, it was the National Investigating Agency in 2013 which had completely set aside the ATS finding of 2006, and it brought into light new facts and stated that there were 4 people associated with Abhinav Bharat who were responsible for 2006 Malegaon blast.
Okay.
Tell me one thing. What is wrong here? Which is wrong? The Makoka court's judgment is wrong, NIA is wrong, ATS is wrong. Can you please throw some light on this?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking the question. If you remain quiet, I will expand on it. But you will have to be quiet, and when my answer is so direct that you will be pushed to the wall, don't start speaking over me, because that's a defensive tactic. I hope I've made myself understood. You see, the point is this. The point what PK Jain is saying, was due procedure followed in this case? You have with you a person of PK Jain who went on to become additional DGP. By the way, he is a trained lawyer. And he is saying that I had a full case on 2006 Malegaon blast. It was carried out by some Muslim boys. And in fact, one of the people felt so bad after what they had done that they confessed what they had done. And he says that person was under police protection for 10 months. You didn't hear him? He said that a key witness, please don't speak over me. I said don't speak over me. People are supporting me. People are with me. The truth is on my side. You will have to speak. You will have to let me speak. You will have to let me speak. Please don't interrupt me. Please don't interrupt me. Tala, 1 minute. Let me complete my point. Let me complete my point, Tala. Let me complete my point. You see, this man is sitting here. His name is PK Jain. Okay? He is saying that there was a person who confessed, and he felt so bad when he saw a child with shrapnel and with wounds near her neck that he confessed out of remorse. And he said, we put the person under police protection for 10 months. Okay, now either he is a liar and you prove him to be a liar. And if you have the guts, call him a liar on the program. Call him a liar. He is sitting here. Say, Mr. PK Jain, you are a liar, but you'll also have to prove why he's a liar. No. You will have to prove he's a liar. Or you'll have to say, Mr. PK Jain, your revelations are so sensational. My mind was made in the wrong direction on the case. Okay, Tala versus PK.
Malegaon blast by the
Tala versus PK. Tala, I can't hear Tala. I can't hear him. Audio.
Police services is sitting here on this panel. He is the only Harish Chand sitting here. During service, he didn't prove his point, but today he's trying to undermine, he's trying to defame the whole investigating agency of the country. He's trying to defame the whole judicial process. He's trying to defame NIA, he's trying to defame ATF, and he's trying to defame the whole investigative officers here.
Okay.
Now, why did he go ahead with his theories during the investigation when he was probing the case? I have no personal grudges against him, but saying these things on the national TV when you have retired from your service, already, you know, it reflects your attitude.
Oh, so
and
you're
if he is
abusing.
the only Harish sitting on this panel, then I have nothing to say.
One minute. Jaya Bharti, Jaya, please get your video back. It keeps coming and going. Jaya, switch on your video.
Which is under trial is really a disrespect and contempt of the court.
Okay, now 1 minute. Sadhvi, Jaya Bharti will respond to you. You have made very serious allegations against PK Jain. Can I have that window on the screen? Thank you. 1 minute. Sadhvi, Jaya Bharti, this is becoming controversial. Yes, please. Over to you.
Tala, whatever you said, you know, the way you opened your statement and saying that he's the only Harish Chandra sitting on the panel, one thing that, you know, we expect on such a panel is civility. If you do not have the basic necessary civility, how to address a person who's senior in age than you, I seriously do not understand what I'm debating.
I have whole respect for you and the respected self sitting on this panel.
Let him speak. No. Let him complete. Let her complete. Tala, let Sadhvi complete. Let Sadhvi Jaya Bharti complete. If you respect her, then you have to let her complete. Let her complete.
One thing is, when you're coming to represent your views, we need a basic necessary civility. However, going ahead answering your question is when we come when we come to a debate, we come prepared with our own versions. I think whatever you and the gentleman before you have asked are the framed questions and statements that you must have read and prepared, because the question that you have asked have already been answered by Mr. Jain, saying that the original accused were let out even on the 2006 case, and even 2008 accused people who were so formally accused, they were being framed even for the 2006 case. This is a plain, simple logic. He explained with evidence, and that it happened while he was in service. While asking you a question, did you not really get this much simple logic in your head? Is it so, out of the world language did he speak that you didn't get that? It is so simple that absolutely this was a complete conspiracy to shrug off the responsibility that the then dispensation was having in its shoulder. And the easiest path was to frame Hindus. Who we are talking about? The same people who said Hafiz Saeed Ji. They were saying Hafiz Saeed Ji.
I mean, it's again I lost.
They said Hafiz Saeed Ji, and then they were saying saffron and Hindutva terror and all sorts of things. The people who cannot call a internationally acclaimed terrorist a terrorist, and they call him Hafiz Saeed Ji, you go and defend them? What exactly are you talking about here? You are framing people against whom the charge sheet was not filed for 6 years after the case. These are basic, simple, layman logics we expect you to understand and respond to, not just prepared questions.
Yeah, Sadhvi, this has become a serious case now, and I'm losing your video all the time. Can you just check your video? Tuhin is also coming in on the debate right now. Tuhin, this is a matter which is extraordinary.
A larger issue.
Yeah, Tuhin.
Absolutely. Arnab, there is a larger issue that emanates out of the disclosure that PK Jain ji has made today,
like to take on
and that is that there was a systematic, orchestrated. There was a systematic,
this is not done with
orchestrated attempt to dilute national security. Please don't. Throughout the UPA era years, if 2006. Accused were let off, and in 2008, for the 2008 blast, the wrong people were accused. Imagine that if two important blasts were completely compromised, the investigation into it compromised, and these were not cases in isolation. Please don't interfere. I don't interfere when other people speak, and you should have the basic courtesy to stop here. Similarly, you don't need to see you don't need to see this case in isolation. Something similar happened in the Samjhauta blast case. So I think, if you put 2 and 2 together, what is the most shocking part is that between 11 July 2006 and 26/11/2008, which is roughly the same corresponding period between the two blasts, India as a country reported a huge blast almost 40 to 40 on an average every 40 to 45 days. So can you imagine how much it boosted Pakistan-sponsored terrorists during that period? And I say this with responsibility that the compromised attitude of the UPA government was a huge national security risk for us.
And another point before you respond, since we need to make our points reasonably, Syed Abbas.
Syed Abbas. Absolutely same. That led to various suspicions. There was no use of timers in the bombs. And in 2008,
who are you, Mr. Sherlock Holmes?
Surprising.
You have the then IGP making a statement on the program.
No, I don't know whether the panelist over here is an investigator.
Just 1 minute.
Belongs to Sadhvi Pragya. You want to say that it was the
there is a limit to which you can fudge facts with internet research.
Planted bomb over there.
Okay, then explain one thing. Can I get pictures of how Sadhvi Pragya was brought out? Okay, I have one question tonight.
In 2016,
I have one question tonight.
Comes up,
Lokesh, can you, Lokesh, you mentioned Sadhvi Pragya. I have a question on that. I have Ratan Sharda on the other side. Viewers, you will be on the other. I want to show you full frame the pictures of the condition in which Sadhvi Pragya came out after being interrogated. Viewers, see
in
this.
2021.
Just wait a minute. Viewers, see this. Sadhvi Jaya Bharti, you are a Sadhvi yourself. You see this. This is her later. You see the way she came out. She could not stand. She had been tortured and beaten. Her bones were broken. She came out on a stretcher. She could not speak. She was not conscious. And decades have passed, but even today, her health is not fully recovered. And you have gone around for years saying she's a terrorist, she's a terrorist, she's a terrorist. Any time she speaks, she's called a terrorist, a killer of people. But nobody answers these questions. Sadhvi Jaya Bharti, who interrogated her in such a way that she couldn't even stand on her own feet after that?
Arnab,
may I answer that?
No, sir, let me do that. I think I should take precedence over this.
Ma'am, you already spoke, ma'am. I think it's my turn with due civility towards you. Thank you very much.
There were attempts to
that the minutes into the debate.
I'm a female. I look at her state. I look at her
Sadhvi Jaya Bharti and
30 seconds.
Sadhvi Jaya Bharti versus Syed Abbas now. Yeah, go first. Sadhvi Jaya Bharti has to make an opening remark on this.
Arnab, I really wanted to. I wanted to talk about exactly this question about the state of Sadhvi Pragya's health when she was her state of being when she was brought out of the interrogation. No sane human would actually, even not I'm saying endorsing, would overlook it. And I was about to speak it, but the question that the other person got. We know her personally and we know what her state has been. And she said on the camera that she was being tortured to accept that yes, she was involved. And though she was tortured, she did not concede to the torture. She did not admit that yes, she planted the bomb. Look at her fortified, zeal that she stood there against that barbarism and torture.
You frame people. Can I come in now, ma'am? Please.
No, I'm not saying you did it, that you were interrogating, but you feel as hurt as if I've said you have been interrogating and torturing her in person. I'm not saying that, but sir, do not, even if you defend whoever you are defending, you cannot overlook this. She was a female, she's a Sadhvi, and what has been done to her, be accountable of that. Be accountable of that.
You spoke twice on the show, ma'am. I haven't yet spoken.
Syed Abbas.
It's not my show. You may
okay, Ratan Sharda will respond after Syed Abbas. Yeah, Syed Abbas.
Allow me to comment on Sadhvi Pragya.
No, you comment on the overall case.
No, allow me 30 seconds, Arnab. 45 minutes into the debate. Thank you, Arnab. Who are we talking about, Arnab? Pragya Singh Thakur. Who is the Pragya Singh Thakur? I will tell you. She idolizes the killer of the Mahatma Gandhi, Nathuram Godse. She says Nathuram
So you will
Godse
kill her?
She says Nathuram
So you
Godse
will
was a
kill her?
patriot. Are we talking about Pragya Thakur?
So you'll beat her up?
Okay, 1 minute. I'll have to intervene and come in right now. Syed Abbas, Ratan Sharda, you will be on the debate. 1 minute, just 1 minute. Syed Abbas, just be quiet for a moment. Syed Abbas, 1 minute. Syed Abbas, 1 minute. 1 minute, please. A minute, please. I won't allow you because I want you to answer my question. And then I have to bring Ratan Sharda, who has not been in the debate. I want to bring him into the debate, but I can't let you make prepared, rehearsed, Baba Black Sheep type of comments on my program. You need to listen to me. Listen to me. Just 1 minute. I know I'm never fair when it comes to dealing with people who spread untruths. My question is simply this. Ratan Sharda, what was my question? My question was, I'm sorry, Syed, I request you not to interrupt me. My question is tonight, and I want that debate. Don't say I don't like Sadhvi Pragya Thakur. Tell me about Malegaon. Did you spread a lie about Malegaon being a case of Hindu terrorism or not? No.
I will tell you, Arnab. You
don't have to tell me. I'm asking a question. Now, here is my point. Please note it carefully, Ratan Sharda. Malegaon case 2006. Maharashtra ATS arrests 9 accused. PK Jain is on the program, ask him. Because if I am wrong, then PK Jain will say, oh no, we are wrong. But I have a great memory. I've been gifted by the God Almighty with a great memory. PK Jain, is it true or not that the 9 accused who were arrested had alleged Simi links?
They had.
Right? And then tell me, was there a 2,200 page charge sheet filed or not at that time?
A detailed charge sheet was filed. There's no doubt about it. That's why they were in jail for such a long time.
But then what happens, Ratan Sharda, is 3 years later, in November 2011, Chidambaram and company say there are Hindutva radicals who are behind it.
Much before that.
Could
I answer that?
Arnab, this started way back in 1993. Let me explain. In 1993, no, Mr. Abbas, you are saying if somebody lies Godse, he should be beaten up and killed to death. That is a statement. Does that make her a terrorist? So don't bring out extraneous argument when you're talking about terror, Hindu terror and the fight against terror in India. Don't bring the extraneous matters. In 1993, Mr. Sharad Pawar created an artificial bomb to remove any doubt that was purely Islamic terror. Was that not against the Hindu interest? From there on, there has been continuous efforts. There are special Hindu communal violence bill which targeted Hindus. Then a Hindu terror starting in 2006 onwards. And finally, it went on and on, including Rahul Gandhi, till 2011-13, before BJP came to power. So this concocting of the terror stories, concocting of Hindu terror and torturing Colonel Purohit, his torture, you remember? How his legs were split, how he was hung upside down, how the evidence was planted in his home, and how military officers have openly come on YouTube now and said that he was framed. If this is the kind of investigation you hold, this is the kind of interest we have in stopping terror, tell me why after 2014 the terror attack stopped so much?
Okay.
Because the earlier government was more interested in Pakistani goodwill and goodwill for terrorists like Talibanis than about protecting Indians.
Yeah.
That is the reason.
Now I ask my next question is, viewers, please pay close attention to this, is to my next question on the debate is back to PK Jain. Mr. PK Jain, how did this influence the overall investigation, in the sense that did it help people who were accused globally? Atikur Rahman, you know that there was a person called Asif Kasmani. Atikur Rahman, actually let me direct it at you, Atikur. Atikur Rahman, Asif Kasmani is a Pakistani national. He was declared an international terrorist, right? The Americans said he was involved in the Samjhauta Express blast. and he was the link between the Al-Qaeda and the Lashkar-e-Toiba. Okay, Atikur? You follow me so far? Right? But you know what the Congress government said? No, 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 no. Lashkar-e-Toiba didn't do it. GD Bakshi, they said. No, 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 no. Why blame Lashkar-e-Toiba? Swami Asimanand did it.
Absolutely.
They said, no, no, but please don't blame a Pakistani. It was done by RSS. Swami Asimanand. Did they not say that, Atikur Rahman? And since you're talking about the court, was Asimanand not acquitted in 2019 by the courts? Atikur Rahman. Atikur Rahman.
Yes, I believe.
Tell me now, with all the facts I'm putting out tonight, what do you believe?
Please. Yeah. So I believe we are not running a kangaroo court over here.
No, I'm not running any kangaroo court.
Mr. A.K. Jain, a subjudiced matter, and in the history of this investigative journalism, people are watching, and the nation wants to know, Arnab, that all energies are over here in
absolve of a terror angle, saying that saffron terror does not exist.
What's happened to audio?
Rather, the energy should be on, Mr. Bakshi. All energy should be on to get the perpetrators of the blast.
The perpetrator of the Samjhauta blast is a man called Asif Kasmani, who's a Pakistani. General Bakshi is responding to this tonight. General Bakshi.
Why are we communalizing it?
Communalizing? Where's the communal angle?
Are we not responsible to take
Where is the communal angle in this?
Where's the communal angle?
Excuse me.
That the perpetrators get booked.
Arnab, can I answer that? After he's finished
audio,
ranting.
please fix the audio. Toin, I'm coming back to you. Yeah, General Bakshi is on the debate. Yeah, General Bakshi.
You know, Arnab, here is a case when this battery wala and Rais Ahmad, both of these who had been picked up by Jain Sahab, were let off scot-free. The whole narrative was created to get Pakistan off the hook because they were more, inclined to please their American, benefactors. They wanted to please the Americans. The Americans have said openly that we cannot please finish. I did not disturb you.
To gain some political mileage
let's have a debate
to diminish
in a
the
proper
image
way.
of UP and Congress, you are trying to blame the whole investigative system, the judicial
in
process,
you and your politics.
the police forces and the army
I am talking
of the country.
of national security.
See what you are trying to gain some political mileage, sir.
My friend.
Where is the politics here, man? There is a Pakistani who's being protected. Where's the politics here? Where's the communal angle here?
The whole investigative agency just to gain some political.
Give me one fact to counter me. Don't
I am trying to put the people in the dock who sold the country out. Okay? There was a government who was more intent on pleasing the Americans than on their own people. And to divert the anger of their people, they came up with this narrative of Hindu terror, a concocted narrative of Hindu terror. They ruined lives.
I'd like Tuhin to respond. This becomes political, Tuhin.
Kallan Purohit's career was ruined.
That's true. I think justice needs to be done to him. Tuhin, please, Tuhin.
Can I, Arnab, first to rebut Atikur Rahman's charge that we are communalizing it. We are actually decommunalizing it. It was the UPA government which communalized it, and the UPA government is guilty of criminal conspiracy to compromise national interests of the country on two accounts. One, it let off the real culprits, and two, it demonized an entire community besides destroying the lives of Sadhvi Pragya and Colonel Purohit.
And
so I think it is about time that the UPA era home ministers
so that she
be
could become the member of
charged
parliament
with compromising
Even in
national interest and
2021.
endangering
Okay, viewers,
national security. Both the home
viewers, I
ministers
track
of the
this again
home
tomorrow in
ministers
part
of the
2
era
of fresh
should be
disclosures.
probed. Who were they taking
I will be
instructions
back
from?
tomorrow with part 2, ladies and gentlemen, with fresh disclosures on this ongoing debate on the Malegaon fraud. Remember, viewers, the lobby had latched on to the saffron terror theory. Many people made a whole career out of spreading this saffron terror theory, and they don't have the guts to face me when I throw them an open challenge now on the basis of facts. More on this tomorrow. Till tomorrow evening then, good night and goodbye.
QS and THE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
Your friend Mamta Banerjee, she says that आप consult नहीं करते, like on disinvestment, opposition should have been consulted.
हमने सोचना बंद नहीं किया। करोड़ों की संख्या में रिपब्लिक भारत और रिपब्लिक टीवी दोनों को देश में लोग देख रहे हैं। ये सब कभी ना कभी ट्रेन का सफर करते हैं। अब हम चाहते हैं कि वो ट्रेन का सफर अंग्रेजी में SUFFER सफर ना रहे, वो एक सुगम सफर हो जाए।